Hey family, it's Dr. Mommy again, and this time we're doing our first controlled experiment. So you remember from our reading that Francesco Redi um, was the first experimental biologist, and what he did, because he was trying to figure out if spontaneous germination was a thing, that, for instance, you leave out a piece of meat, flies quickly appear on it. Are the flies just coming to life from the meat? So we're gonna recapitulate that experiment. So in your jar, you've got an uncovered, this isn't me because these are fruit flies, but fruit fly food, everything that a fruit fly would need if it were going to spontaneously germinate, it would do so from this. And it is uncovered. And that's, what people were observing, so that's our control. And here's our experimental, where you've got the same food in the same container. The only difference is the same air, right? Because air can get through this paper towel, but flies cannot. So we're gonna see if flies will spontaneously generate in here. To do that, you are going to take your flies, and they are here. And first thing to do is label. So this one says ebony, and you can get these flies from Carolina Biologics, or you can get them from us, and we'll hook you up with all the other supplies. So ebony, that's the label. I'm going to give it today's date because I always like to date my labels, not like, take them out to a nice dinner or something, just put the date on it. Sorry, that was a bad joke. All right, so easiest way to transfer flies, although it's not foolproof, is you'll notice that like flies have an instinct to kind of climb upwards. So if you tap them, they'll fall down and then they start to climb back up again. So I'm just gonna do that. Tamp them down. Actually, I should move this thing. So kind of loosen up the little foam, and again, tap them and flip them over real quick and tap them down. Sorry, that's really loud. And quickly put the cover back on. No, there's still some in there. What you're gonna want to do is, you don't necessarily need to get all of the flies in there. Just make sure you get, the majority of them. But what you definitely don't want is any adult flies left in your vial, because this is going to end up being your backup. Actually, in this case, it's probably fine. But in later vials, what we're going to do is make sure that the parents aren't, mating with the offspring. So we're going to transfer the adult flies before the pupa hatch. And the life cycle of the fly is about 10 days if you keep them at room temperature. So you've got some time. I would say that once they've been in your new fly food for a week, you might even see eggs. They're really tiny, and you can use your microscope for that. But you should definitely see larvae. That's a really good example of larvae. So you can see those little sort of off-white little wormy things moving. And then if you look further up, you'll see pupa. You know what I mean? They kind of look like, I don't know, sort of light brown shells. They're not moving. They look pretty different from the adult flies, which definitely aren't moving. So yeah, you've got 5 different kinds of flies. You've got 5 different jars and 2 vials of food in each jar with which to just make sure that like only the ebony flies go in the ebony jar and only the eyeless flies go in the eyeless jar, so on and so forth. We will be breeding them, but that's gonna come once your flies in your backup container start to hatch from their pupa. It might actually happen in the next day or two. And so in a separate video, I'll tell you what you're looking for with those newly hatched adult flies. But for now, this is our first controlled experiment, just like Redi's was the first controlled biology experiment. So huzzah, you are well on your way. To support Dr. Mommy and Gracie developing these experiments and to purchase class materials, please visit us at patreon.com/drmommy.